Good evening and welcome to this unique show, life experience series of Professor Prabhat Ranjan, organized by DY Patil International University, Pune. My name is Manbardhan Kant, and I thank you all for joining today's session, which is centered around Professor Prabhat Ranjan's creative leadership during TIFAC days. TIFAC, as you know, India's technology think tank. I take this opportunity to thank the creative team of DY Patil International University, Pune, for conceptualizing this brilliant idea of celebrating the 60th birthday of Professor Prabhat Ranjan, Honorable Vice Chancellor of DY Patil International University, Pune. In this unique series, you have been listening and learning from the experiences of Professor Ranjan's childhood, his career in IIT Kharagpur, in University of Delhi, in University of California, Berkeley, his association with Dhirubhai Ambani Institute of ICT, Gandhinagar, and his notable contributions in trying to help persons with severe disabilities through innovative technology, such as brain-computer interface, which has not only won him awards and accolades, but also brought smiles on countless faces. Ladies and gentlemen, today in this session, we would experience Professor Prabhat Ranjan's creative leadership as Executive Director of TIFAC. We are extremely happy to have with us today eminent scientists like Dr. Gautam Goswami, Mr. Ashwini Gupta, Dr. Yashwant Pawar, Dr. Neeraj Saxena, Sangeeta Bakshi, and Kumari Lipi. I deem it a pleasure in extending a very warm welcome to all the speakers of the session, and yes, countless good wishes to Professor Prabhat Ranjan, a super scientist having simple living and high thinking attitude always. So may I now request, yeah, please go ahead, sir.
No, thank you for inviting me in. I think we can start today's session. As we have discussed, we'll be covering TIFAC activities. And since you have been associated with TIFAC during my period, so you have good knowledge of TIFAC activity. And along with my other colleagues, I think it will be a good session.
Right, sir. So kindly introduce all those moments which you recall today, which will be beneficial for all of us, right from the idea of joining TIFAC to leading all the major programs, projects of TIFAC.
Let me try to recollect. First of all, how did I join TIFAC? I was in Gujarat, Gandhinagar from 1995 onwards. And I was not really interested in moving anywhere. But my work with disability sector started, and it was helping a lot of people. So one of the requirements for me was that they cannot come to me. So I need to reach out to them. Right. And to reach out, that means you have to travel different parts of the country. So if there was any occasion to travel to a particular place, I would stay an extra day or extra time to meet somebody who needed my help. So sometime around 2011, maybe December or something like that, I saw an ad for TIFAC. I was aware of TIFAC, but not in details. So I just applied so that I can get a free air ticket to Delhi. That was the only purpose of applying. And then I did not hear about it for a long time. So I even forgot that I had applied. Sometime, maybe almost end of July or 1st of August 2012, I got a phone call from Department of Science Technology and that you have been shortlisted for TIFAC personal interaction. And I had forgotten. So first question I asked that, for what purpose? And the scientist, Dr. Suman Agrawal, she in fact laughed. So I said that, can you remind me? So she said, this is what it is. That's a selection committee has been set up for TIFAC executive director's position. So I said, okay, in a very uncommitted way that, okay, please send me an email and I have to go to Goa on that day. Let me see if I can come. So this was 17th August 2012, the date was fixed. Okay. Just after a couple of days, I had health problems due to gallstones. So I had to worry about hospital and other things. And I wasn't sure whether I can travel at all. So I asked my doctor whether I can travel to Delhi. And I had another event in Delhi on 14th August. So 14th August, I was to receive, pre-Independence Day, an award from Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. And as well as 17th August, this TIFAC thing came. So my doctor said that you can go there, but you have to be under severe restriction. We'll give you certain medicines that you have to follow. You take, certain diet constraints will be there. With all that condition, and I was a little weak also, so I traveled to Delhi and I cancelled all my program. And if anybody was to meet, I asked them to meet in the guest house. It was actually Friday was 14th August and Monday was 17th August. In between Saturday, Sunday was there. So people came to meet me who wanted to. That's why I came there. Of course, the good thing was that in that process, I also discovered a process to remove the gallstones without surgery, about which I've written a blog, and it has helped hundreds of people. So that was one of the advantages while I was lying on the bed, trying to figure out how can I avoid. When I went to TIFAC Selection Committee meeting, Dr. Mashelkar was chairman of the committee. And he started saying that, your academic credentials are excellent and so on and so forth. I have nothing to say. And he kept talking. So I think probably I was interviewed for maybe 45 minutes. And at 80% of time, Dr. Mashelkar took. And
who else were there? Other than Dr. Mashelkar, who else were there?
Other were Secretary DST, that time Dr. Ramasamy was there. The previous Executive Director, Dr. Y.S. Rajan was there. And Dr. Indresan was also there. So I think these were four of the committee members, and probably DST representatives were there to manage things. So Dr. Ramasamy asked me an interesting question, and I thought I would recollect that. He asked me that should TIFAC provide thought leadership or action leadership to the country? And as I was not well, I did not have much time to learn about TIFAC. So I told the committee members that, I don't really know too much about TIFAC. But once the minute he asked me this question, within seconds, I replied back to him that while TIFAC has to provide thought leadership to the country, it has to ensure that action also gets taken, because thought without action or action without thought, both are useless.
Right.
So that I wasn't sure whether they liked it or not. But
certainly they liked it. That's why you joined TIFAC.
Well, I'm not sure. But after 3-4 days, I got a call from DST saying that, we would want you to join. And there's a process to be done. I wasn't very sure because I was not really interested. But Dr. Previous Thana from DST was handling, and he knew me because he used to handle plasma physics projects from DST, and I was in plasma physics. So we had met earlier a few times. Of course, we're not in touch for a long time. He said that it's a good position, you please shift. So that's how I agreed. And then it took a long time actually to do all the process and so on. So finally, I could join on April 25th, 2013. So it took almost 8 months to do the processing. I did visit TIFAC once. There was in March, around March 18th, 19th, there was an Indo-UK workshop on foresight. And I was invited to be there. They were expecting that I might join before that. So anyway, invitation was there. Either I joined as ED or as the speaker. That was my first interaction with TIFAC people. And also, in some sense, it gave me a view of how international agencies are looking at foresight, which was an important activity of TIFAC. Before that, I think I had been to a meeting at BRC in Mumbai, where Technology Vision 2035 related discussion was there, or maybe another discussion was there related to one of the projects that TIFAC was working. I don't exactly recall, where I met Dr. Kakotkar also. And since I was with Department of Atomic Energy projects earlier, I was in Science Institute of Nuclear Physics. So some of them are also familiar with me there in that meeting. And so finally, on 25th April 2013, I joined TIFAC. And in between, I started to interact with TIFAC scientists once in a while when I had to visit Delhi, or otherwise through video conferencing like we are doing now, to get an idea of what is happening in TIFAC. So one of the important tasks that was going on was work on Technology Vision 2035. And Dr. Gautam Goswami was given this responsibility to TIFAC to coordinate the effort from TIFAC. And this effort had started much earlier, actually, sometime maybe 2010-11. And by the time I joined, it was decided there'll be 12 sectors, and there were a number of committees of almost totaling 200 to 300 experts across various sectors. And the work was going on. Many draft reports were also ready. When I went through some of the draft reports, I didn't feel really happy because most of them were not talking about 2035. Most of them were talking about current situation, a lot of past details, and only talking about few years. In fact, some areas, the chairman, I remember in ICT committee, Professor Ashok Junjunwala was the chairman of the committee. He said that it's very difficult to see beyond few years in ICT sector. Things change so fast. And so I was a little worried that if we're talking about 2035, how do we talk about that? And experts don't seem to be in position. So I thought that why not TIFAC scientists take this responsibility among ourselves? And one of the suggestions that came was that can we send people for international training and so on? But I felt that let's do internal capacity building first. So we requested all the scientists to actually join hands. And some of the training, some of the Indo-UK workshop had already given some ideas to many of us. I also went through the details, learned a little bit more about that. And we did internal training in the TIFAC by dividing ourselves into groups. We're doing various internal exercises to build up our capacity. And that, I think, helped a lot because slowly the TIFAC scientists started to contribute much more in this direction. Yes. The second thing that I had in mind was to actually also make sure that the document that is prepared has good look and feel, and it's easy on people to look at that. It should not be a boring government document.
But sir, sorry to interrupt you here. Just explaining all the stuff about Technology Vision 2035, I was expecting one thing from you, sir, that when you joined TIFAC, of course, this Technology Vision 2035 was a mega project of TIFAC. But when you joined TIFAC, that time you had a general idea of TIFAC. So please share the mandate of TIFAC and the all the verticals of TIFAC for our viewers especially. Then I would concentrate, even right. Dr. Goswami is also there, so he would also be explaining the Technology Vision 2035. But for our viewers, so, please explain the verticals.
Yeah, so TIFAC was set up actually in 1988. Its plan was prepared by the then Planning Commission, now which has been converted to Niti Aayog, right, as an agency which was to be a central agency under Planning Commission with its units in all ministries and departments of Government of India. So this was to act as a hub for all technology-related work, especially which involved a lot of economic outlays. A lot of money was involved. So idea was that there will be a central unit of TIFAC which will work in coordination with different units across different ministries for coordination. They will be part of those ministries, at the same time they will connect with TIFAC. That was the idea. 1986, the approval came, but in the cabinet, it was discussed, there was one change made, I think, which was crucial for TIFAC, which was that it was moved from Planning Commission to Department of Science and Technology. And 1988 it started. Little work had already started within Department of Science and Technology. And so a lot of DST scientists were involved. Dr. Y.S. Rajan, who became the first executive director, was also a DST scientist. And a number of DST scientists were involved with that. When the TIFAC became an independent entity, most of them continued to work in this. So there was a lot of influence on TIFAC of DST scientists who were working there. Second chairman of TIFAC was Dr. Kalam, actually. He was not the first chairman. Dr. Kalam was the second chairman.
APJ Abdul Kalam, right.
Right. And he was just, he moved out to TIFAC just before he became president. So he had a lot of influence on TIFAC. So Dr. Y.S. Rajan and Dr. Kalam were the face of TIFAC for a long time, during which phase Technology Vision 2020 was prepared and it was released in 1996. And a lot of follow-up happened with that, but as Dr. Y.S. Rajan and Dr. Kalam moved out, there was a delay in various stages. The funding that had to be done to actually realize some of the aspects of Technology Vision 22, they came very late and so on. And in between, we had Dr. Anand Patwar join TIFAC as executive director for some time, maybe about 4 years he was there. And then sometime in 2008-9, probably he moved out. When I joined TIFAC, then in addition to Technology Vision 2035, we were working on small industry MSME sector, where we were trying to upgrade the group working on that. There was a group working on trying to fund activities to support innovation. There was a group working with patent facilitation center, which in fact used to be handled by the DST scientist earlier, and then he had superannuated. So we had an independent unit within TIFAC, under which there was also a women's training program, which was renamed as KIRAN IPR program, which was being handled. Let me see if I can. There was a program where India was being represented by TIFAC in an institute called International Institute for Applied Systems Analysis in Vienna, IASA it is called. It was, so countries had to become member, and TIFAC was selected to represent that. And maybe I might have missed out a couple of other activities that may have been there that I can recall, or maybe one of my colleagues will recall. So these are a few of the activities there. And then in between, there used to be requests from different ministries or Department of Science and Technology for certain kind of work that used to be done. So TIFAC was involved in many aspects, in addition to preparing for such reports. Funding activities were there, but slowly the funding activities had gone up tremendously around 2006, 2007, till maybe 2009, 10, to as a follow-up Technology Vision 2020. Those had been reduced. It was felt that TIFAC, those activities should be reduced. TIFAC main task should be to do think tank activity. So there was some amount of discussion on that. And at my time, Dr. Kakotkar was chairman of TIFAC, and I had discussion with him on this point also. And so sometimes there was a little confusion as to how far TIFAC should take its action. So when we make a plan, should we go further down and get it implemented directly, or what should be done? And there used to be discussion on this point. So the TIFAC Governing Council was well represented by different ministries and so on. So roughly that was a kind of structure of TIFAC. And
so Professor Prabhat Ranjan, when Dr. Kalam was the chairman of TIFAC, and that time Dr. Y.S. Rajan was the executive director of TIFAC, this mega project of Technology Vision 2020 came out, and that was step one of its own kind of step, a unique step in the India. And in your tenure, it was followed by Technology Vision 2035. So for our viewers, can you please explain the difference between the Technology Vision 2035 and Technology Vision 22? And then I would request Dr. Goswami to join in here.
Right. So Technology Vision 2020 was actually a set of 25 documents, Dr. Gautam Goswami can correct me, covering 16 to 17 different sectors. These were actually roadmaps for India from 96 to 2020, in about 15 years. And these roadmaps are very specified targets, what needs to be achieved in various sectors. Each were separate documents, separate document. When we started at Technology Vision 2035 activity, normally there's a tendency to go back to the previous and kind of follow that. So similar pattern, 12 sectors were identified through a process, and expert committees were formed, which were to work on these documents. A number of meetings used to take place. Then it was felt that we need to create a document which combines these various sectors into a single kind of summary kind of thing, and for which 3 external experts were taken in addition to TIFAC team. So what happened at that particular stage is when I joined. So when these three external experts were identified, the very first meeting I was there with them. I think that was also when BRC Mumbai was there. I probably met them. And interesting thing that happened was that when we were discussing preparing the summary document, slowly through our discussions, the nature of document changed, and actually it became not a summary, but it became the real vision document for the country. And the main emphasis that shifted, and that was very important to point out to viewers, was that Technology Vision 2020 talked about developed India. I remember
Right.
Dr. Kalam, last time I heard him was in 2015 before we lost him. And he still talked about developed India. He used to love TIFAC. I met him after joining, and he still remembered all the details, and he wanted us to pursue those. But when we were preparing this document, our focus with our discussions internally slowly shifted towards not developed India, but developing quality of Indian citizens' life. So quality of life became focus. So focus moved from India to Indians. And that was a very important change that happened. And that affected all the other documents. And then we tried to synchronize all the roadmaps to achieve this vision as much as we could. We were not in position to change completely, but whatever we could do. So it became a set of 13 documents, a main vision document, and then 12 roadmaps to achieve that vision. During my tenure, 6 were released, and I understand one more has been released, so probably 5 more are remaining.
Very rightly you said that it was a shift from India to Indians. May I request Dr. Goswami, Dr. Gautam Goswami, who is heading the Technology Vision 2035 team. May I request Dr. Goswami, just tell us about Technology Vision 2035. And I personally know that you have had this opportunity to work with Dr. Kalam also. So can you just tell us about your experiences of Technology Vision 2020 and Technology Vision 2035, please?
Let me start congratulating Professor Prabhat Ranjan for this wonderful initiative. And it's really a brilliant idea to celebrate your birthday in a different way. It is hatke. It is hatke from the normal procedure.
Very creative idea. Yes.
So now let me, before I go into Technology Vision 2035 in detail, not in detail, in brief, let me connect the threads where Professor Ranjan leaves it. When he joined, 3 things I could infer my association with him, which gave us delivered this 2035. One is to inculcate confidence on us that yes, TIFAC scientists can do it themselves. Number 2, to bring flexibility in the administrative system. Number 3, how this document will be different and acceptable to people rather than scientists, rather than technologists, rather than technical people. How to make this document as simple as that, so that non-science people read and get the flavor. These are 3 components I can see from his contribution towards the system. Now, let me go back to the 2035. I worked with Dr. Kalam quite intensively because I joined TIFAC in 1997 when Technology Vision 2020 implementation program started. Because we were not there in preparation of 2020. But being agriculture core heart of Dr. Kalam, so I became also very close to him. I traveled many times with him. But what I felt is that the way he deals people is absolutely different from others. He doesn't believe in that hierarchical model. Whenever you interact, first sentence he would say, "Excellent work." Whatever the material you produce, excellent, and that gives you a lot of confidence. So I have a lot of experience to share, but it is a time limited. Let me now come back to 2035. And none of us who are there in Neeraj and other scientists in TIFAC, nowhere in the horizon of 2020 preparation. But when one fine evening, Dr. Ramasamy called me and Sanjay Singh to discuss about TIFAC future program. And he said that, can we prepare a separate vision document? That time it was conceptualized at 2030. His intention was not to prepare a vision document by us. His intention was to bring ourselves on the right path, because TIFAC was in implementation mode. TIFAC was implementing technology vision 2020 projects. So the real challenge was to bring TIFAC people into the thought process path. So that's why he said that it is an experiment for me. You start learning through doing. And of course, I took the challenge, and Dr. Singh said that, can you do it? Yes, I do it. And absolutely, we were clueless how to move it. Then a lot of interaction happened with experts. Then first challenge was to select people who has vision. So two names came in. One was Dr. Kakotkar post, and another 2-3 names there. Dr. Ramaswamy said, no, let us stick to Dr. Kakotkar. And he was that time he was not chairman. Later he joined as the chairman. Then a lot of interaction happened, and Professor Prabhat Ranjan was right. Initially, we zoom into 12 sectors. It was not thought of prerogative-wise, which actually came out finally. And this thing came through a couple of regional workshops. So any 12 sectors we identified people, lot of interaction with different people, and it was a almost 24 hours job. We did it, and Neeraj will support that.
So, Dr. Goswami, this is one main vision document was released, and after that it was followed by 12 sector roadmaps. That's what you were saying.
Actually, when we are preparing a sectoral report, then we thought of, let us first prepare the technology vision 2030 main document, which is a culmination of all this input. Then we thought that when you have prepared the vision document, why not prepare a separate roadmap to how to achieve that vision? In that way, 12 roadmaps were thought of, and out of which 7 were released, but still 5 to be released, which is getting delayed due to some other problems. So that way it worked. But I want to share one thing which Professor Ranjan mentioned briefly about that. When he joined, that time document was almost in a financial in terms of input. Now, next target was to how to neat it properly, all this input, so that it is acceptable to people. Then a brilliant idea came from Dr. Ramaswamy, Dr. Kakotkar, and Dr. Ranjan, that why don't you form a team where you involve social scientists? Earlier, nobody thought of that, because social scientists are always involved how to connect social people. So that way, Professor Barun Sahni came in. Then one industry, Dr. Professor Santanam came in. Santanam came in, and we need a very good writer, that is Dr. Phonke came in, and myself and Dr. Ranjan. 5 of us sat together a couple of times, and in an informal way. It is not a 10 to 5 job. It is some sort of a 9 o'clock in the morning to 12 midnight. In between, you can take a nap, or in informal situation, so that all creativity comes in that way. It is not in an office kind of environment. So that way, it is
all 5 are Vishwakarmas of this mega project Technology Vision 2035.
I would like to. I wanted to share with Gautam. Gautam will remember this. Actually, we were first time we had a meeting of the 5 of us. It was in Chennai.
Yes.
And so we were in a hotel, and in the morning I asked Dr. Gautam that where are you going to meet. So he said that we'll be meeting in Central Leather Research Institute, and there's a meeting room we have booked, and it is not too far off. So I said that how long the meeting will last. So he said that 9 to 5:30. 5:30 the institute closes. So then he said that, what will you do rest of the time? So I said that please cancel the meeting room part and let's book the hotel room so that's available to us 24 hours. And let's go ahead. And I said that we'll do the verbal. I'm giving a verbal approval right now. We'll do the paperwork later on. And so then actually we stayed in the hotel itself. We were, as Gautam was mentioning, we were in comfortable dress. If we wanted to sleep, we'll go and sleep. If we wanted to feel hungry, we'll go and eat. And that actually changed the thing. And that was what Gautam was referring to in an informal way.
Wish we could display the images of all those days. Professor Ranjan, I would like to ask you, the memorable experience during the release function of this Technology Vision 2035, then I would request Dr. Neeraj to come in and say a few words about you. Thank you, Dr. Gautam Goswami. I would require you, and I'd call you again if it is required. Professor Ranjan, please tell us about the experiences, memorable experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
So as we were preparing the document, sometime in the May 2014, we are getting the draft ready. This is of the combined main vision document we're talking about. I remember in BRC Mumbai, we had a meeting, and sometime first week of June. And by that time, our current Prime Minister Modi had already taken over on 16th May. Yes, I think election results were announced 16th May. And so we thought that new government would need information and new ideas in great hurry. So we decided that let's hurry and get this document ready as fast as possible. And then sometime in September, actually, September 2014, we handed our first draft of the document to Prime Minister's office. But interesting thing that happened was that I also wanted that this document should look professional. As Dr. Goswami mentioned, that we actually had Dr. Varun Sani, a social scientist, who came in. The language of the document improved, and with other experts like Dr. Balfonte and Dr. Santanam and so on, it was a very useful document that was coming out. But we thought that it should be properly designed. It should not look like a boring Sarkari document. It should look nice, professionally look. There was some concern both by Dr. Kakotkar and others that no, it's a serious document, should look serious. But when finally, and Gautam's team worked very hard on this, we had to go to press or designer in the weekends and so on to make sure that it gets worked. Everybody was very happy to look at that. In fact, it set the standard for documents. People in Niti Aayog or other places to ask that how do you prepare such nice document. Now, when we handed over to Prime Minister's office, final version we handed over in November 2014, then we found that they said it will take about 3 months' time for them to respond to that. But there was no response for a long time. It was sometime in September 2015, there was a discussion that we should release, Prime Minister should release this document in Paris, where a climate change convention COP21 was taking place. So Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change wanted Prime Minister to launch this document in Paris, which I oppose, saying that it should be done in India. It's a document for India. It is not a document to be released in Paris. So the discussion went on to Prime Minister's office. Then suddenly Prime Minister's office got, in action. And I think 7th or 8th September 2015, we had a Prime Minister's office meeting. And we were told that, we should have released it earlier only. Why this much delay? But eventually, when I returned from Paris, we went to Climate Change Convention. Myself, Dr. Gautam, we both of us went. And we can probably cover that part later on. I think I returned back on 13th December 2015 to Delhi. It was Sunday. And I got from Department of Science and Technology that on 3rd January 2016, Indian Science Congress, Prime Minister is going to release this document. So suddenly we had to hurry up, and in great hurry, we tried to get the number of copies prepared. I remember I carried personally 200, 250 copies of this book.
I'm the witness of that particular event you are mentioning.
and a lot of things that happened on the 2nd January night at midnight and so on. All of us were engaged there. Gautam could not come there because he had some other travel plan the last minute. He could not change. Even Dr. Kakotkar was not there. So some of us were there. I will not go into details of that, but finally Prime Minister released the document. There was nothing else mentioned. In fact, it was not even told who has prepared this document. But it was the documents. One more thing that we had done was, actually we had requested Prime Minister to write a foreword to the document.
Yeah.
So Prime Minister's office was very concerned about this. And initially it was a new Prime Minister, so they were said that we may have to make a presentation and so on. But eventually, after Prime Minister's office meeting they agreed, and Prime Minister wrote a foreword, which is part of the document. And further on, as we are aware, Prime Minister's office also directed all the ministries and departments of Government of India to actually, for the document should be followed forward. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dr.
May,
Neeraj
may, I,
Kinwar.
may I request Dr. Neeraj Saxena, first of all, good evening and welcome you. And can you recall all the days spent with Dr. Ranjan as the leader of TIFAC? Would you like to mention some memorable points or memorable episodes? Please.
Yeah, good evening and namaskar. And at the outset, let me greet Professor Prabhat Ranjan on his 60th birthday and 66 perfect tens. So I wish him many more such perfect tens and look forward to his contribution now
Yeah.
as an academic leader. So not only the university which he is heading now will tend to gain from his experience, but also other universities and academic fraternity in general.
Right.
So his experience has been mixed, unique, and would benefit a much wider cross section than the academicians alone.
Mm.
So Professor Prabhat Ranjan joined TIFAC in April 2013, and TIFAC, the ship, was without any captain till then. So he had the responsibility of adjusting the sails of that ship. And we had just set sail with Technology Vision 2035, which became the flagship activity of TIFAC. And one of the important contributions which he brought in was that before his arrival, we were hovering around the vision part of it. So Technology Vision 2035, we were more or less working on vision side of it. And the adjective technology was almost left out. So a serious thought process was started when he joined, and we deliberated at length and on many occasions and many sittings that resulted in identification of not just the technologies, but how they are at that point of time. So all those set of almost 200 or 300 technologies that we identified and embedded in the vision document were actually came out of his push that he gave to the team. And as Professor Dr. Goswami mentioned, that he tried to put back TIFAC as a real technology think tank. We had become managers. The scientists had become managers, and for the first time under his leadership, we felt that we were scientists or academicians. So that inputs really sharpened in his presence, and we spent a lot of time discussing about those technologies. And a very important contribution from him was setting up a unit for horizon scanning.
Right.
Which is actually the basis for any technology foresight activity. And it is not just one time, it is a continuous thing. Technology information intelligence has to keep flowing in. And that is the lifeblood for a think tank, especially a technology think tank, which has to keep track of technologies as they evolve around the globe. So ultimately, when you bring out any document which is based on technology and has to be enriched with technology, an activity like horizon scanning is important. So besides that, he brought in a concept of internships, which was very unique. And the 18 scientists in TIFAC found some working hands.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Neeraj Saxena. We have majorly discussed about Technology Vision 2035 only, the flagship program of TIFAC. Now, can I have this Mr. Ashwini sir, can I request Mr. Ashwini to come in and please share your experiences with Dr. Ranjan's life?
Thank you.
And
welcome, Ashwini ji.
Yeah, good evening to everybody, and I have a great pleasure to be amongst all the experts here in this broadcast. And in fact, I have known Professor Prabhat Ranjan when he was executive director in TIFAC, and I am I was greatly impressed by his knowledge and his humane approach to tackle some of the health issues, particularly related to anemia and malnutrition in children. And another belief of his, which has a great potential for the country to become a manufacturing hub. What he believes is that these days the youth and the young scientists, they only believe in the software, and they fancy at becoming IT experts without actually going to the labs and working on the shop floors. So I think he is a great believer that these scientists must be encouraged to do hands-on work, and only by doing hands-on work, the nation can really aspire to become a manufacturing hub. I mean, which we are aspiring.
Yeah.
And then obviously his contributions towards the technology vision 2035. I mean, they have been exceptional. And particularly, I like this concept of treating the entire technology landscape to the four traits of horse. So that was like it was galloping, cantering, trotting, and walking. So that was a very good concept, which I really liked. And
Professor Ranjan, can you explain this horse concept? Sorry to interrupt you, sir.
Actually, this was a team discussion, and we felt that to show country's progress, we have to be able to symbolize this in some form. So we used horse as a symbol, and we said that we will divide India's progress with respect to Technology Vision 2020 that we prepared in 1996. That where do we stand today? We did not want to go into details of who should have done what. We just said that let's look at what we desired in 1996 and where do we stand today. So we divided into 4 sectors: galloping India, cantering India, trotting India, and walking India. So where gallop, where we have gone beyond imagination, and walking India, where we are very slow in progress, and we divided various sectors along that. And that gives a summary of India's progress very nicely. There was a nice infographics on this. That is what Dr. Gupta was referring to.
Yeah, sir, continue please, sir. Ashwini Gupta ji. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Next, I really enjoyed working with him when we were asked by the Ministry of MSME and the Planning Commission to work out the export potential of maybe 3 or 4 sectors. So we worked on developing the reports on electronic design and systems manufacturing. That was one area. Other was the guargum, the export of guargum, how they value-added exports, particularly because it has a great potential in the shale gas exploration, which the US had been doing. And
sorry, once again to
interrupt
you, sorry, once again I'm interrupting you here. Can you explain this value addition, Professor Prabhat Ranjan? What does it mean, value addition?
So actually, we will need to have a separate session on this. But very briefly, what has happened for last 250 years, from the time Britishers colonized us, that raw material is going out of the country and gets processed elsewhere and comes back to India with higher value. This value addition part should actually happen within the country, closest to production center and not outside. And this is due to which India actually became poor and European countries became rich. And of course, there were other countries like this. India became colony. So guargum is an example of this, where there are hundreds of minerals and other raw materials that are being produced in countries sent outside, including iron ore and so on. But we need a separate discussion on this actually, because very important for a country. We are losing lakhs and lakhs of crores of rupees.
Mr. Ashwini Gupta, you wanted to say a few words more, or should I invite other speakers?
I will just take a few moments. When I was at DSIR, we greatly benefited from his expert guidance and views during our technical advisory committee meetings, of which he has been a part. And today in this broadcast, I take great pleasure in wishing Professor Prabhat Ranjan a very happy 60th birthday, and I wish to continue to have association with him.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. May I request Dr. Yashwant Dev Pawar, sir, please.
Dr. Gupta also completed 60th birthday.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you, Manbardhanji, for hosting this and coordinating again and giving us a feeling like still in TIFAC.
Thank you so much, sir. Reminding TIFAC days. Just I would ask, I would ask you, sir, to tell us your experiences with Professor Prabhat Ranjan working in TIFAC, please.
Sure. So, Professor Ranjan, let me first congratulate again on your 60th birthday week. So I should say birthday or a birth week, or what should say. But it was hard to imagine that 60 plus, because I have always considered you a thinky plus. So thinky plus 60 plus is another hat on the color of a hat on your head. So we had a wonderful experience with you during your tenure in TIFAC, and I think we are still sharing the same feeling after you joined D.Y. Patil University as a Vice Chancellor, and I think we are working together yet as we were doing. But to share few great experience with you, I still remember. Now you're a Vice Chancellor of a university, but I've seen you doing rehearsal as a good student at a Rashtrapati Bhavan when we were receiving this national award, Nari Shakti Puruskar, and you were doing rehearsal, and then your efforts, because we have been doing this work for 13-14 years, but your zeal and your efforts led us to receive that national prize, and we got a chance to be in a central hall of Rashtrapati Bhavan where India got an independence. So that chance we got because of you. You motivated us to apply, and
it was given for
this training to women scientists on intellectual property rights. So in 7-8 batches of women scientists who got training on intellectual property rights, 1 year hands-on training which TIFAC was doing under the scheme of Department of Science and Technology. So that was a memorable experience with you, and you receiving prize from Honorable President at that point of time, Pranab Mukherjee.
Yes.
And then you met Prime Minister also. So we still keep those photos of yours with Prime Minister and President in one day. So we always used to take pride of that. But I still really appreciate, because you came from IPR, the Institute of Plasma Research, and you had to work with us and our team in other IPR. This is called intellectual property rights. One IPR to another IPR.
Wonderful.
That your transition was really, really very helpful. And then you put a lot of faith in the team. Many a times we had a lot of good experience, you guiding us on various issues, and actually you converting us to E-mode always, as this particular your birthday you were celebrating. So you asked us to go for a Moodle for KIRAN IPR. So we are now online. We are able to impart that the online system. And then we had a lot of broadcasts and TIFAC Day function, and then live telecast, and all those
Webcasting.
experiments
Yes.
we did. Like you are still on with those new experiment with now today's StreamYard, but we did with Zoom at that point of time. The Zoom timers, then Easy Talks and Google Hangouts. And then we got those devices, Black Magic, etc., etc., for TIFAC Day function. So all those good memories, but all those memories made us actually technology savvy in all
Very
aspects.
true. Very
And
true.
winning
Dr.
all
Yashwant, as you have
One point I
mentioned
want
here,
to
Dr. Yashwant, IPR. So can I join? Can I request to join Dr. Lipi here and share her experiences?
Yeah, so
Lipi,
before,
Dr. Lipi.
let her join. I just wanted to share a few things. Two things I wanted to add to what Yashwant was saying. One was that the patent facilitation center in TIFAC used to work as an independent unit. But I realized that it's a very important contribution to make to Foresight. So actually, we started to join hands together, and patent searching was an important part of our Foresight process itself. That is one point. The second point was that we used to run the KIRAN IPR program, or the Women Scientist Training Program, for which TIFAC received the award. We actually changed that to make it more suitable for women who actually need that particular for the purpose which it was made, actually. And Kumari Lipi is an example of, I think, the 8th batch she joined. That was the first batch which had the changes that we implemented in that. And that's why Kumari Lipi is important here. And Yashwant, if you want to add something to this, you may want to add.
Yeah. So I think beside the Kiran scheme, I think Lipi can cover those aspects because he's also part of the
IPR
scheme. But
professional.
I would like to cover two other important experience with Professor Ranjan. One, the long experience of 2.5 years of negotiating science and technology agreement with United States. Because he was the chairman of the committee and I was a member secretary. But he put a lot of faith in me, and then said, "Oh, whatever you say." So each and every aspect of international collaboration, which we discussed, and it was very hard negotiation with the US team because it was through again video conferencing. The team flown into India twice, thrice. We had a very hard negotiation. So really, we put our foot forward. And I think we finally could get a very good agreement, and then the IPR with them. Another experience, Mr. Maan is sitting here, Dr. Neeraj was there. So every organization should have a mouthpiece. So we worked on, again, a newsletter, TIFAC, iTech. And then that's where also you always allowed us to be creative. Because from creativity from iTech word itself, because
Eyeing the technology.
iTech means eyeing the technology, seeing the technology through TIFAC's eye, basically. So I had different meaning there.
Kumari Lipi, Dr. Lipi, you can communicate. You can share your experiences with Professor Ranjan.
I can stop here. I think I can see a smile on Dr. Neeraj's face. Dr. Goswami, regarding that.
Actually, I would like to apologize to all those people, because we used to had to work till late 8 p.m. or so every day almost, because of working on those documents. So I apologize to all of you for that.
Now we enjoy it.
Dr. Lipi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. First of all, I want to congratulate Dr. Prabhat Ranjan sir for giving me chance to represent myself here. बिल्कुल टाइफैक के ट्रेनिंग टाइम का मुझे बिल्कुल वो याद आ रहा है सब कुछ. I recall that time when I joined Women Scientist. That time I have submitted my PhD and searching my job here and there. And after joining the Women Scientist IPR किरण, वो मुझे दिन याद है जब ऑडिटोरियम में प्रभात रंजन सर ने अपना स्पीच दिया था और इनकरेज किया था. उस समय आशुतोष सर ने अनाउंस किया था, डॉक्टर जो जीएसटी के हैं कि 10,000
Secretary.
आपको मिलेगी, सेक्रेटरी सर आशुतोष सर के 10,000
आपको वो
मिलेगा।
कौन सी बात बहुत अच्छी लगी थी उस स्पीच में, वो बताइए। प्रोफेसर रंजन की कौन सी ऐसी बात थी जिससे आप प्रोत्साहित हुई थी?
सर उन्होंने अपने जीवन का जो स्टार्टिंग से लेके इन तक उन्होंने एक पीपीटी दिया था। उस पीपीटी में देख के मुझे बहुत मतलब आश्चर्यचकित हो गई थी। मैं सोच रही थी कोई अपने लाइफ में इतने सारे काम कैसे कर सकता है, मतलब इतने अच्छे से कि किसी के लिए, मतलब उनके जो उन्होंने बताया था कि किसी के ब्रेन में मैपिंग करके उसको रीड करके उसके लिए जो काम किया था, उसके लिए पूरे लाइफ में अगर कोई पढ़े और उसको समझे, फिर उस तरीके का एक क्रिएटिविटी लाए किसी के जीवन में, और उन्होंने अपना साइड बाय साइड अपने काम करते हुए और किसी के लाइफ में इतना अच्छा करे, वो मुझे बहुत ही टची लगा था। आज भी मैं उसको याद करती हूँ।
मतलब अपने जीवन को किसी और के लिए जीना बेहद जरूरी है। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका डॉक्टर लिपि। मे आई रिक्वेस्ट संगीता बक्सी to please join us and please tell us about your experiences with Professor Prabhat Ranjan. Good evening, Sangeeta Bakshi ma'am. Please unmute please unmute Sangeeta ji. Your mic.
Yes, good evening to you as well, and congratulations to Professor Prabhat Ranjan for completing their 60 years. And we really wish you, and I mean, take you forward for this, whatever, like we have been always associated with our work in TIFAC and beyond TIFAC. I mean, you had been a great leader for us, and we have learned a lot with your association. And basically, like, I was handling this international cooperation, I'm still handling that. This is like we have worked in YASA, which is like International Institute for Applied System Analysis. And through this program, I think Professor Prabhat Ranjan has been like a great contributor. As a leader, he has actually taken up a few very interesting studies under this umbrella of YASA. Like this cluster program, which we started, like, this is like basically a management of the land, soil, and the water, which is a very important, which is like all connected activities. Like this was the kind of a project which was a very, very successful project we started under his umbrella. And this like actually has taken by the minister in the Bundelkhand, like to go forward and how we can still manage this water issues, I mean, beyond this project arenas. Plus, like we have done one study on the gains, like, this is the air pollution model, which was developed under the India YASA program.
Yeah.
And this is actually to monitor, like, all the health problems, the pollution problems, what are the activities, what are the technologies which are available, which probably can cut down on these pollution levels as well. And like with Professor Prabhat Ranjan, I think we were very successful actually, doing a lot of workshops. We were interacting with the stakeholders, we were interacting with the various ministries, and how we can take this model forward. So I was very happy, like especially as Professor Prabhat Ranjan has given a very confidence, it's like a hand holding for us. This was something which is
agree with you. We are running short of time, I guess.
Yes.
We are running short of time, so
please
conclude your statement very briefly, Sangeeta ma'am.
Yeah, actually, then we had actually this other study which was on carbon capture and utilization program, which was again under his umbrella. I think we did this with the Ministry of Coal, and which was a kind of a very first-hand document. It was not at all like document which is like a kind of a just a cut and paste from the Google, but it was a very authentic document which was developed with all the stakeholders, and this was all his contribution. I think this YASA program, which also got closed for some reasons, and it was him, like who pursued it like this, and like with the our ministry, with other ministries, how we can go forward with this.
I agree with you, Professor Ranjan. You wanted to add something here?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that when first time I visited Vienna along with Sangeeta, that was June 2013. I was very new to that experience, and I was very subdued. I did not want to say much. It was my first experience. But surprisingly, within 2 years' time, it became such that they actually made me the vice chair of the council there. In addition to, and we became played a very important role, in fact, later on, as we continued In fact, there was a lot of heated discussion. There was a lot of international politics that happened, and actually India became the center of that. We were witness to all of this. Sangeeta was witness to all of this. What was the drama that was happening there? Sometimes she was not allowed inside. Sometimes she was. But in addition to Vienna, actually, we also got connected with Government Foresight Network, which helped us in actually trying to judge ourselves where we are. And we became an important part. We hosted a meeting, so we became part of the international community. And to share with you, last year, although I was not in TIFAC, I was invited to South Korea to actually represent India on a discussion about what world should be in 2050, and we signed an agreement. So very quickly, we actually gained confidence internationally in the Foresight Network, and so on. That was very important. But it started in a very small way. I think we run out of time, so probably I don't.
Yeah. Before I sign off, Professor Ranjan, last thing I would like to ask you. Can you tell us about any particular thing which is unfinished types, like you missed out during your TIFAC days? Just I wanted to ask you.
So, of course, one of the tasks that we did was Technology Vision 2035. And November 17, 2017, the Prime Minister's office had a meeting where they decided that all the ministries and departments should take the agenda forward. And Niti Aayog should coordinate this effort. This news I got on 12th January 2018 was landing in Mumbai in plane. I got a call from Niti Aayog. And I made a presentation on, I think, 30th January or 31st January 2018. But that work of taking that vision to action, that is something that I would have liked to continue with that, especially given the fact that government itself had decided to work with that. So that is something that I think is the unfinished agenda. Of course, there are many others, but some of that I'm realizing through the university education. I've been able to change a lot of landscape of computer science engineering. This year we're not binary. And it has actually changed engineering education in a big way in the country itself. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Prabhat Ranjan, and countless good wishes for your many more years to come and all the good health. I wish you good luck. Thank you, viewers. It was a great pleasure interacting with all of the scientists with Professor Prabhat Ranjan, the then TIFAC Executive Director. Thank you so much. Namaskar.
Thank you.